Well, hi. Welcome back to History 123, History of America from 1900 to the present. Just want to take a few minutes in this video to go over some of the questions that you had from the syllabus review. So what I'm going to do here is I'll go ahead and pull up the syllabus so we can kind of talk about it as we go through. Now, the first question I had from a student was that if we finish the week's assignment early, is there any way for us to begin the next week's assignment? And my answer to that is no. I don't want students to get too far ahead. I don't want to have them asking questions about a week that's up and coming that we're not ready to talk about yet. And so I've structured these classes to kind of build off of each other. So they will be open every Sunday at 6 p.m. So there won't be an opportunity to get a head start. There'll be plenty to do during each week to keep you busy. Okay. The second question was about the précis. In fact, I had a few questions because you were unable to access the link that I had put in the syllabus here, which is somewhere down around, let's see, here, and I believe it should be, okay, so there it opened here for me. I've relinked that. It should work for you. I have also placed it in the tips and resources here on Blackboard. So your précis sheet is here as well for you to go in and check out how to write a précis. And if you have any questions after reading this, then feel free to give me an email and I'll go over it with you. And then let's get back to the syllabus here. So the other question was, are our answers graded on our opinions as well as how we convey them? And would you consider this class structured as conventional or more of a progressive history class? So the answer to the first question, I do not grade on your opinions. So I'm asking you to just summarize what you've read and kind of put it in a neat, easy package in a way that lets me understand that you have read and have a good understanding of what the materials are. So you feel free to put your opinions in there, but what I'm more looking for is how easily you express the ideas that you found within the reading material. And so you can have opinions around the material, but I also want you to summarize what the readings are. So I won't be grading if you add your opinions in there, but feel free to do that if you wish. Would I consider this class conventional or progressive? I'd say a little bit of both. So I do think it's important to understand historical facts. That is part of doing history, but it's progressive maybe in the sense that it's not the traditional history class where I'm asking you to memorize facts and kind of give those back to me. I'm more interested in how you go about collecting facts, how you analyze the facts through the sources that we read, and what conclusions you draw when you're reading and looking at primary sources. So not just understanding history as a collection of dates and facts, but understanding how historians do history and why we do history and how we would approach it in some ways as a job. So I want that to be part of the curriculum as well. So I would say a little bit of conventional and maybe a more progressive historical approach. Is there a word requirement for our peer responses? And so that is down here, well, not down, it's up here in the explanation of the summary post. So I'm looking for you to summarize all weekly readings in a concise post of at least 500 words. So that may seem like a lot of words, but it's really no easy task to kind of get all of your thoughts collected in that kind of small amount of space, because we do have a lot of readings and materials that you're looking at. So that's the answer to that question. Also, along with that question was, what is my favorite subject we're going to cover for this semester? And I would say my favorite, I mean, it's hard. I kind of like all the different eras, but the Cold War era, I think for me in particular, has been a very interesting time period to study and to teach. There's a lot of music, there's a lot of technology. I'm really interested in the ideology that grows out of the Cold War. I think the Cold War is kind of the transformative moment of the 20th century. And so that's an interesting time period for me. So thanks for asking that question. Can I repost the link to the Précis? And so I've done that, and I've shown you where you can access that. Is there a limit to how long our post should be? So I wouldn't, I'm looking for at least 500 words. I wouldn't go too much over that. You want to kind of keep it concise and kind of work on crystallizing your thoughts, so we're not having a lot of kind of run-on thoughts and things that kind of get a little, delve into different areas that we're not really looking at. So I'd like to keep it really kind of short and concise. What formats am I expecting for assignments and essays? So I have also linked in the resources here on Blackboard the history style sheet. And this is typically what most faculty are looking for. Now it depends. Each of us individual faculty members differ in what we'd like to see, but this is the general guidelines for writing a paper, the title, the thesis, the body of the paper, the conclusion, and then we get to the style and format. And the preferable style for me is the Chicago manual style. And you can find a little bit about that online if you Google that. But what I've done down here is I've put some examples of what I would like footnotes and bibliography to look like. So you can take some time, go into the tips and resources on Blackboard and check that out for yourself. Let me get back into the syllabus here. Okay, so that's for the format. How long do the summaries have to be? Again, that's around 500 words. Do you prefer to be emailed or called? I'm fine with either. You will probably get a quicker response out of me through email. I do have my phone on most of the time, but if I'm in the car, I won't answer, or sometimes I don't get reception at home, and I just tend to be more responsive through email. So that would probably be the best way, but feel free to call if you would like, and I can also schedule a time to call you if that would work for you. Let me make sure I'm getting all of the questions that you have. For summaries, will we need to cite sources? You don't have to do it according to the guide that I showed you. That's for essays and papers that you submit. But for summaries, it would be nice if you just at least say what source you're talking about and kind of refer to the writer or the author or the document that we're looking at. That would be helpful for those of us that are reading your summary. And for midterm and final, will they be written essays? Yes, they will be written essays. And I am looking for quotes. The question is, will there be any quotes needed? And I have here, all essays must include a minimum of 5 direct quotes, evidence for your argument from the assigned text relevant to the essay. So you want to make sure you're getting at least those 5 quotes in there. That's important. Do we take a day off for Columbus Day? So I don't have a day off scheduled. This is an online class, so it's kind of you're at your own discretion to decide what days you check in, what days you have off. So if you have something that you need to do on that day or any day during that week, you certainly don't have to check in every day. I'm not checking your attendance that way. Just make sure you're keeping up with the posts and that by Thursday, you've got your summaries in, and by Sunday, you've commented on a couple of your peers' posts. And I actually think that I messed up on one of those questions. I think what somebody had asked is how long do I is there a word requirement for my peer responses? And so that is up to you, whatever you would like to say. I'm not going to have the 500 word requirement if you're just commenting on your Sunday requirement to comment on a peer's post. Just make sure that it's relevant and that it really is quality. So I'd say I'm looking for quality over quantity. Sorry to kind of diverge on that, but I just realized that's what the question was. And so in getting back to the days off, so yeah, try to check in as often as you can, but if you do need to have a day off and you are traveling somewhere, perfectly understandable if you're not able to get to a computer for a few days. If you do feel like you are falling behind, if something comes up, please email me and we'll see what we can work out. And how much time should I allot for the readings each week? So that's a really great question, and I'm going to kind of end on that one because a lot of times it's hard to figure out, especially with online classes, the time and how much you should be spending. Now, typically, if we were meeting in person, if it was a once a week class, we'd be meeting for 2.5 hours. If it was twice a week, we'd be meeting for 1 hour and 15 minutes each week, usually a Monday, Wednesday, or a Tuesday, Thursday. Since this is online, what I'm trying to do is keep the materials that I'm assigning in the weekly material section to take up around 2.5 hours. So that would be a class time. So that includes the lectures I'm doing on video, the activities that I'm having you do, the posts and that sort of thing. In terms of your readings and your summaries and some of your forum posts that are taking place around your reading assignments, I would say go by the formula of a 3-credit course and how many study hours you would anticipate outside of the classroom. So a 3-credit course, which is what this course is, it's a 2.5 hour once a week course worth 3 credits, and you should be studying at least 3 hours per credit hour. So that would be 9 hours a week outside of the class time. So if you added that with a 2.5 hours, you'd be looking at 11.5 hours a week. I don't anticipate you'll spend that much time on this course. Some courses you spend a little bit more, some a little less. I would say 9 hours would be a lot outside of class for readings and responses, but it really depends on how fast you read and your own kind of timeline for that. I would say 3 to 6 hours might be within the range. If you find that you're working beyond that 9 hours or 11 hours altogether, please reach out to me and we'll kind of see how you're approaching it and what we might do to kind of tweak that and get you some help to kind of get you on track to stay within those hours. So that's it for now. I hope I answered some of those questions in a way that leads to better understanding of what I'm looking for. I certainly will continue to answer questions as you complete the surveys. I know some of you haven't been able to do that yet. And I'll sign off now, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.